Hey everyone, what's up, everyone out there on Facebook? Welcome, welcome. It is I, Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire, bringing you education, information, motivation, inspiration on the regular. And tonight, like no other, here we are. Now, I apologize. We were supposed to start at 8:30. I got a little late. I was doing my functional medicine files for Thursday, and I got way lost track of time. But here we are. So, if you've never seen me before and you've your first time, please put number one in the comments below. Let me know where you're watching from. If you have seen me before and come back for more, please put number two in the comments below and go from there. If you are watching on replay, as always, please watch the replay in the comments. And lastly, the best way to say thank you is to hit the share this thing out on your page, private message, give it a post, whatever. Let's get it out there, whether you're watching YouTube, Facebook, or any restream area that we have. Now, before we go into that more, let's go into some information. Bang, I'm going to put our follow us. That's our link tree up there. That gives us all your places to follow us, so you never have to miss anything about us. For and again, I am Dr. Jason Pape, chiropractor extraordinaire. And I bring you education, information, motivation, and inspiration on the regular. And I have not done a motivation post in a little while. So today, I had a great idea for a topic. So it came to me over the weekend. We'll talk about that in a minute. So today, instead of Motivation Monday, it'll be, Thoughtful Tuesday. That doesn't really work as well. Motivation Monday on a Tuesday. So the title of this one tonight was Someone Ran Over My Glasses. And we're going to talk about that because it sounds very odd, right? But that is the name of this one. So someone ran over my glasses. So what is that exactly and why is that? Well, we're going to talk about that because that one statement has so much information embedded in it and it seems so innocuous, but yet so important. I thought I had slides, but I guess not. Okay. Okay. So as we get going here, say hello again if you come on in. Number one, if you've never seen me before, two, if you have. And we're going to go from there. So again, tonight is a motivation, inspiration type lecture. So someone ran over my glasses. Simple enough. You might look at that and go, I don't even know what that means. Sounds like someone's glasses got run over. Yeah, that's exactly what it means. But we're going to talk about what that indicates and about how you can read so much about how someone views the world in just one simple 5-word sentence. So, I was in work over the weekend and one of my staff came and told me that a patient came in and she was talking to her, and then at some point she said that the patient said to her that someone ran over her glasses in the parking lot. And I use this as a good teaching moment later, but think about that statement. Yeah, her glasses got run over. But the way the statement is framed, it's as if something happened to her and it wasn't intentional. It's not like someone saw her drop her glasses and then purposely went and drove over them, right? It wasn't like, someone took them and threw them and drove them over the parking lot. It is that the person must have accidentally dropped their glasses. And at some point, someone just in their, going about their day, driving through the parking lot, accidentally ran them over. So it's a little different when you take a look at like someone ran over my glasses. Seems almost like something happened to you, like someone attacked you and destroyed your glasses, but as opposed to taking the responsibility of, hey, listen, I made a mistake. I dropped my glasses in the parking lot and they got run over. Right? So how would you have said that? So if you had lost your glasses and you found them the next day or whatever, and they were in a parking lot where you may have dropped them and they were run over, would your statement be that someone ran them over when you're talking to people, or like, oh my God, I dropped them in the parking lot, they get run over? What is it? Which way is it? And again, also, if you also sit there and beat yourself up and go, yeah, I dropped them in the parking lot, and then all of a sudden someone ran them over, like there's different levels, but it's about how you view the world, right? So responsibility. If you dropped them in the parking lot and they got ran over because you mistakenly dropped them in the parking lot. That doesn't mean you're a bad person, it doesn't mean anything wrong, but the responsibility is you made a mistake, you dropped your glasses, and they got accidentally run over. But the other way is almost you take no responsibility for what happened and it just happened to you. Oh, this thing, and now you're the victim, right? So it's about if that's how simple you put it for just your glasses, how do you bring that to everything else? Right? So it's an important way to start looking at, like, when you frame a statement, how are you framing it? And in what lens do you see the world or yourself in when you make that statement? And that's really what it comes down to it's because the key to manifesting and having success, we've talked about this before, is responsibility, right? Extreme ownership. It's about understanding that everything that ever happens to you is something somehow you have brought to you. Okay, I know we've had this whole discussion about how that's, you know, horrible things that happen to people that seems to be out of their control. I get that, but at some point, if you take the responsibility every time whatever that happens, that you somehow had a role in it, you can actually learn and even grow and bring more to your life. So how are you speaking about things that happen to you in your day, right? Because, that's, I'm trying to think of another way we can put this. Like, what's another way you could iterate something that happens to you in your day that may not be optimal, and how do you say it to yourself? If it's, I spilled my coffee on myself this morning, and you say, "Oh, I spilled. What happened to you? Oh, I was rushing. I spilled my coffee." Okay, responsibility. Hey, oh, I know my kids had me up all night, and the dog was barking, and they were so aggravated. I wasn't, so when I went and picked my coffee, I just got it everywhere. Shirking responsibility. Or you can go the other way and go, I know I'm such an idiot. I don't know. I always spill things on myself. Like, that's not good either. There's a place in between, right? At the end of the day, it's all about coffee being spilled on yourself, but like the whys of it are different, right? So, and how you view yourself in a situation. Are you self-loathing or beating yourself up about it? Are you taking no responsibility for it? Or are you somewhere in between, right? So that's what I'd like to ask you guys right now, is anytime you start framing things that happen to you that may be not positive, and even positive, do you do it in a way that it takes responsibility and takes a blame level out of it, right? Like, someone ran over my glasses. That's a blame level. When you blame, you're not taking responsibility. Again, you don't be self-flagellating at the same time. You're like, I'm so stupid. I drop my glasses every time, and this is what happens to me. That's not good either, right? You take responsibility, but you're taking it to a level that is unforgiving and bad to talk to yourself like that, right? So, y'all picking up what I'm putting down? If you are, please put a number 3 in the comments below. Let me see if anyone has made any comments so far. All right. Again, as always, if you have any questions, comments, whatever, drop it in the old chat, and I'll be more than happy to respond, whether you're live or on replay. So, how are you framing things? If you're out there and you feel like, let me give an example. Maybe you guys, if you want to participate live or on replay, maybe give your own way of wording this. Oh, excuse me. One of those days, so long day. It's been a long day. Well, there we go, right? I yawn on camera. So I'm tired because I did a lot today. And probably could have got more sleep, and that's why I'm yawning right now. I could say I'm yawning because the dog kept me up all night. Or I'm yawning because I'm just so busy because so many people put so many things on me and blah, blah, blah. No responsibility. Or I can be, I'm tired because, I don't know, I force myself to stay up and binge things on Netflix, and then I'm always tired. I'm so stupid. Like, You know what I mean? There's a place in between. So again, it's always about what are we doing to reframe things. That doesn't mean, listen, does not. It's a true statement if a dog kept me up all night. But maybe more about, if I'm blaming the dog or something. Maybe I'm not giving you the best analogy here tonight. I am a little tired. But again, it's how you frame it, and I just think that sometimes we have to really look at the words we use and how we say something so innocuous, yet it's such a insight and a window into someone's vision of how they see the world, and that's going to be really helpful in helping someone. So it's about really seeing that one little thing and really saying, to yourself, well, how, and then that can also help with that person too, right? Because if you know how that person envisions everything, your communication with that person can make more sense. You can understand where they're coming from, right? To understand where someone's coming from a lot of times is really important because you can help to better communicate with them. If they're open to great coaching, great. But if you understand someone's focus and motivation, if you will, like how they view the world, it's much easier to communicate. It's like sometimes you'll say people talk at themselves. They talk like this, they talk like on two different realms. But if you're able to talk in the same place, and again, it's about understanding where someone comes from, right? We could be talking about the same topic, but if we have two different visions of things, we might be talking like this instead of here. So once you understand where someone's motivation is or how they view the world, you can more easily come here and have a conversation and maybe get where you want to go with that person. So if you're finding butting your heads with someone on a regular basis where neither of you can ever see eye to eye, doesn't mean you have to agree, but they're becoming that maybe because you guys see the world very differently. And if you can't understand their perspective, it's very hard to communicate with them. That doesn't mean you have to agree with their perspective. You can understand it. So again, someone wearing one of my glasses, their perspective is that technically it's not my responsibility. Something happened to me. I had someone to blame. And if you can see that when you're having a conversation with that same person, maybe when you're always here, you can go, well, that's kind of how they view things. And they're saying this other thing to me. Well, now I can kind of get why they have that. Maybe now I can say something to them in a way that they'll hear it and it'll get in at a level that'll allow them to maybe hear better. Does that make sense what I'm saying? Pick it up what I'm putting down, put that number 4. So again, sometimes policing your own words and how you speak, because again, not taking responsibility is a good way not to manifest the things you want in life. But at the same time, if you can understand when you hear those things in other people, where they're coming from, their kind of view of the world by something so simple, you can much more easily communicate with them because you can understand how to get on their level so they can see what you're trying to say to them. They may not agree with you, you may not agree with them, but at least you can talk here as opposed to be here. We've all had those conversations, right? Where you're talking to someone, you're definitely talking about the same thing or the same topic, but yet you guys are just like, it's just, you can never find any common ground for someone to understand the other person because you're talking two different places. You're bringing two different baggage or viewpoints to the thing. Your perspectives are so askew that you can't really see the same thing and see eye to eye. You've all been there, right? Some people we can easily communicate, some people we can't. Part of that's because we can understand that perspective more easily. Obviously, to have similar views is always helpful too. But one thing that I think is always helpful, at least speaking for me, because I deal with a lot of different people all day long. So 53 people yesterday. Like, they're all different. They all have different personalities, different perspectives, different life experiences, and you have to kind of know how to what's the word I'm looking for? Communicate with them in a way that'll help them. Right. My goal is to help them heal. Excuse me. But I have to build rapport to do that to really get to true healing and rapport. Because again, faith in your practitioner is really important and in your healing and. Part of that rapport building is to be able to understand where they're coming from and to see their perspective. I don't have to have severe back pain to understand what a patient's going through with severe back pain. If I didn't and I couldn't see their perspective, good luck with me really helping them or understanding where the problem is. Right? Then I'm just an automaton that just says, puts, slot A and tab B or whatever it is. It's tab A and slot B. And again, the more you can have some insight like that, the better you can communicate with people. And again, it's all about communication, right? Especially if you're in a small business, it's all about communicating with other people, your customer, wherever it may be. Communicating with all you lovely people out there on Facebook tonight. That I hope you're all enjoying what I'm putting down here. That's kind of what the point of all this was. It's very, you'd think one simple line has sparked this whole 15-minute conversation here on Facebook tonight so far. But there's a lot to it. And again, I'm not picking on anybody. It was a great example. It just popped right up. I was like, this is a really good teaching example of how you can just understand how someone views the world very quickly and use that information to help better communicate with them. But also understand, hey, this is something that what are you saying in your own life? So we can take responsibility in the times we need to take responsibility. So that way we can be better people and also manifest things we want in our lives. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, put that 5 in the comments below. If you think this has been helpful or valuable, please write value in the comments below. And if you've never seen it before and you think this has been valuable, you can drop in a 1 as well on top of that value comment. And again, the best way to say thank you is to share this out. Put it on your page, private message in a group, in a post, whatever. And again, I apologize. I got all caught up on my paperwork and I was a little late tonight. I definitely lost track of time. So I'm going to keep this short and sweet because it is kind of late, and at least on the East Coast. And I'm going to say thank you all for coming tonight and participating. And with that, I will say I bid you all adieu. Have a good night and good sleep. This is Dr. Ketone saying bye-bye from myself and the Vitality Center. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, share. And we'll see you all in the next video next week. Have a great night.